I guess even if I can't stream yet or whenever, I can still make a couple videos just so you can see what's going on. So you can see some of the landscape and stuff. Right now I'm headed I just picked up in Lunenburg, Mass. I gotta head down to Wilmantic, Connecticut. It's just before sunrise. Traffic's pretty light right now. Hopefully I beat the traffic through Worcester. But I'll have to run 395 down into Connecticut. There's a lot of hills. Mainly hills and trees. Not really much to look at. My load's not super heavy today, so I don't have to worry about hills that much, but I might bog down a little bit on some of them. But good morning, and the sunrise should be over to the left because we're heading south. I mean, this whole thing is really bumming me out as far as live streaming, but I still want company in some way, shape, or form. So I just keep doing what I'm doing, I guess. Right now I'm in Leominster on 190. I was cruising this before with a friend of mine in a car, and we saw a plane going down, and we called 911, and they're like, oh, there's an airport over to the right. Yeah, well, my buddy was playing flight simulators. He's like, dude, that wasn't the right angle to land. And we saw black smoke from the trees. I guess the guy didn't hit the runway, went in the woods. But nobody was injured, I guess. Him and his kid walked away from it, so that's good. It was something to see, though. Now we're entering Sterling. I was surprised when I went through Clinton because they have some Russian history museum. I had no idea. They also have a really cool dam in Clinton, Mass. If I ever drive by that area, I'll have to make sure I video it. They stock the river with trout underneath the dam. So a lot of people fish down there when they stock it. But the dam, it looks awesome. And it's a reservoir on top of the dam. So that looks great too. But on the reservoir you can't fish. So you can only fish in the river at the bottom of the dam. A place I was the other day in Turner's Falls, they have a dam as well. When it's open, it's awesome. The water, it's just like, I wouldn't even know how many gallons of water per second go through that thing, but it looks awesome. If they have the dam open at some point, I'll try and film that, because that's beautiful. There's like a little island at the bottom of the dam that only has a couple trees on it, and it looks like but we haven't had any yet here. Just flurries, nothing stuck. Yeah, the sky's starting to lighten up. I mean, it could also be lights in the distance from Worcester, because every major city, you know, you got the light pollution. I mean, it's great where I live. I live out in the boonies, and you look up, you see all the stars and everything. That's what I don't like about the city. You know, you look up, you see street lights, you don't really see the stars. Starting on the left. I can't really switch the camera right now. I mean, yesterday that sunrise was beautiful. Nice orange and pinks. As long as it's not red. When it's a red sunrise, the wind is always really high. That's why the sailors had that saying, red skies in the morning, sailors take warning. Red skies at night, sailors delight. It's usually calm if it's a red sunset, but if it's a red sunrise, it's windy. It's normally really windy. So part of Worcester, they call the Worcester Hills, and it's not really mountains or anything, it's just big hills. The nearest mountain to here would be Wachusett, which would be to the west, and it's not bad. I mean, it's like 20 minutes, 25 minutes from my house, and it's like the closest skiing mountain in this area. But it's nice, you can go up there in the summer or whatever and take the lift to the top. It's a pretty great view. You can do that in the fall as well. But now I think they got the snowmakers started for the skiing, so it's not exactly the same. I'm a pro at falling down, not skiing. I can tumble down a mountain, but I can't really ski down one very well. I tried snowboarding too. That's fun, but I'm not that good at it. Guess you gotta know your limitations, right? lot of guys, they stream when they're driving and they're flying because they're either per diem or they're like mileage, or they're like percentage. I was percentage with my last job, and it pays if you have short days, but I always worked my max or over my max, so I never had short days. So this job's hourly, and it's a vacation to me because I don't work as many hours. I get paid a lot more. It actually has overtime, which is a lot of times unheard of with the trucking industry. So I'm not in a rush. I don't have to speed everywhere like a lot of these drivers. And since I ran New York for 10 years, traffic doesn't bother me. I just expect everybody to be an idiot. And if you expect everybody to be an idiot, nothing surprises you. You just look at them and laugh. Because they're going to be in an accident if they keep up their crap. So
there are police reported ahead.
And police love this route. That's another reason, speeding's not worth it. You don't need a ticket. You don't need all that stuff on your driver record. You don't need your insurance to go up. That's why I quit cruising New England, because I'm not in a rush. I don't care. I'm not on timelines. Some loads I have to get immediately from one point to another, but I don't need the speed to do it. I'm given enough time to legally make it, so I'm not going crazy trying to break the sound barrier or something. Now in Maine, the speed limit's 70. And in parts of New Hampshire, way up, it's 70. I normally stay within 5 miles an hour of the speed limit. So if I do speed a little bit, because, I did it for 20 years where I had to get from point A to point B as fast as possible. I might fluctuate within 5 miles an hour of the speed limit. But you can't get a ticket for that. At least in the state of Massachusetts, and most of the Northeast states don't bother you for 5 over. Anything over 5, yeah, but 5 over, that's pretty much expected. Most people are doing 10 to 15 over. There are some pretty aggressive drivers in the Northeast. If you ever drove here, you'd know that. I have three modes of driving. I have the cruising, I have aggressive, and then I have super aggressive. And I try and stay away from the super aggressive. That's when I get speed tickets and other issues. But don't get me wrong, if I'm in traffic and you're doing the wrong thing, don't think you're cutting me off. I'll stuff you. But as far as just everyday driving, yeah, I pretty much stick to the speed limit or 5 miles within it.
There are police reported ahead.
There's always police. They're pretty sneaky. Especially in Massachusetts, they like to hide in the woods, hide in the medians. They never run with their lights on unless they're going to an incident, or if they're at an incident, they'll actually pull over another cop if they see the lights on and he's not going to anything. So they're pretty strict and they don't play.
In 2 miles, use the right 2 lanes to take the I-290 West exit toward Auburn.
I do have to say, Massachusetts cops are pretty cool to truckers. If they respect your license. If you're like from Florida and you're in Massachusetts and they pull you over, they're gonna screw you because they don't respect your CDL because it's too easy to get in Florida. So the hardest states are Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and California. Those are the 3 hardest states to get your CDL in. But if you get them in those 3 states, or any one of those 3 states, then everywhere else is like, okay, you earned it. But you get it in like Florida with a bubblegum machine, you can't drive to save your life. You're toast up here. You get pulled over, you're screwed. So, coming into Worcester. Wonderful Worcester. I drove in Worcester a long time ago with a trash truck. Or recycle truck, trash truck, whatever. It was a horror show. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. I mean, who recycles dog poop and hypodermic needles? You know what I mean? No, thank you. I'm not doing it. I'm not touching it.
In a quarter mile, use the right 2 lanes to take the I-290 West exit toward Auburn.
You know, I thought working for Waste Management I'd be able to drive a Class A, but they subcontract now. So all the trash haulers are subcontractors. They're not Waste Management. So working for that company, all you drive
use the right
Class
2 lanes to take the I-290 West exit.
And with a Class A, you don't really want to drive a Class B.
Continue on I-290
Say,
West for 8
What's
miles.
the difference between a Class A and a Class B? Labor. That's pretty much it. Any Class B you drive, there's labor involved. Whereas Class A, pretty much it's all drop and hook. I mean, on occasion you have to help to get stuff off the truck, but you're not manually getting it off the truck. You know, you might have to use a pallet jack and get it to the back of the truck. I mean, you got LTL liftgate services and stuff like that. We don't do that. But sometimes they don't have a dock. You got to get it to the back of the truck. That's not a big deal. Oh, and there's this one milk place I go to. I actually have to pull the skids off the back of the truck with the guy by hand. But I mean, it's empty plastic bottles. They're light as hell. So, not a big deal. Alright, I should probably get over a lane. Because I'm not taking any of these exits. I gotta stay right on this. Fastest way to Rhode Island from Worcester would be down 146, which will be an exit coming up that shoots you right down to Providence. And if you just before you get to Providence, you can take 295, which loops around, so you can come down 95 in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, or you can loop the other way toward Connecticut if you're heading on the coast of Rhode Island, like the southern coast of Rhode Island. It'll loop the other way so you can avoid the city. It's usually good to avoid the city if you don't have to go through it, just because of traffic. But sometimes the city can look cool. Yeah, sure. Especially at night. I love running cities at night because of the lights on the buildings and the bridges and stuff. But with this job, I don't really run at night. I mean, I start early, so it's still dark, and I finish when it's dark, especially in the winter. But I don't really typically run at night anymore. I mean, my last job I ran all the time. All the jobs before that I ran 24/7. So, I mean, not consecutively, but you know what I mean. So I drove at night quite a bit. It doesn't bother me. In fact, I prefer it because then you have less traffic. You can get to where you're going and not have to worry about congestion anywhere other than road work.
Massachusetts 12 North toward Massachusetts Turnpike, Auburn.
It's 2.5 hours. And there's no way I could video the whole, I mean, I could video the whole thing, but with nobody to talk to, a lot of times I'll put on music, and of course with YouTube, you can't have music going because then they flag you for copyright infringement and stuff like that, especially if it's like a popular song. So it gets pretty damn boring for me with nobody to talk to and no music or anything for a long ride like that. So when I know I'm going to go to somewhere cool, I'll video it. You know, I might check on the stream, see if I can stream at some point, but I've pretty much given up on that. I'll put videos of cool places that I go, or cool scenery, but
for I-90 Massachusetts 12 north
Just,
toward
you know,
Massachusetts
video would be a
Turnpike,
couple hours
Auburn.
long, and it'd just be me talking to myself. Not that that's abnormal. I've done it for over 20 years, but
Take exit 12A, then use the left lane to take the I-90 West ramp.
so now 290 turns into 395 as soon as you cross the exit for the pipe.
Take exit
Pipe
11B.
is 90 or 90.
In a quarter
90
mile,
goes all the
turn
way
right
out
onto
to,
Faith Avenue.
I believe Chicago. And then you're gonna drop down to 70 if you want to.
There are police reported ahead.
To like Colorado, that area. Colorado is beautiful, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. I'd say out of all the states I've been to, and I've been to all of them except for Washington and Oregon, I'd say Colorado is the prettiest. Although their deer are messed up looking. They look like a donkey mixed with a deer. It doesn't even look like a deer. Like a white-tailed deer up here looks like a deer to me. But a deer out in Colorado looks like a donkey deer. They got these big floppy ears. I was like, what the hell is that? I had to Google it and figure out what the hell it was. But yeah, it's a deer. It just doesn't look like the deer here. But their scenery is beautiful. The problem with Colorado is if you're hauling hazmat, because if you got to go through Aspen, you got to go up this steep mountain that has like a cliff on the side. I mean, the scenery is beautiful, but when it's snowy and you got to go up that steep mountain with hazmat, you're like, oh man, I'm driving a bomb and I don't want to go all over the side of this cliff. It's sort of sketchy. Bring your brown pants. I mean, other than that, they also make you run chains. So I think it's September to June, maybe? May or June. You have to have chains on your truck, and if you don't, it's a $10,000 fine to the driver. So a lot of companies wouldn't have me run that area unless it was the time of year when you don't need chains. I don't run chains. I mean, I know how to. I've been with companies where they have chains and they taught me how to do it and everything, but if I gotta use chains, it's not worth driving there. I'm not one of them ice road truckers. I'm not doing that crap. You're not gonna find me driving across a frozen lake or anything like that. Nope. No thanks. Keep that crap. That's not me. I'm not a mechanic. I break down in the middle of nowhere. I'm screwed. You know, I gotta contact somebody. I'm a driver. That's it. I'm a driver, and I'm not a driver that doesn't want to be home. I want to be home every night, every weekend. I want to be home. I want to sleep in my own bed. I mean, I drive a day cab now. I don't want to go back to a sleeper ever. I mean, I did it for years. I literally just started this job like 6 months ago. Before that, yeah, I was sleeping in my truck for 20 years. I'm all set with that. I'm all set with trying to find a parking spot, parking next to a rest area, parking next to a wherever, you know, parking wherever you can find a place that you're not going to get a ticket or get woken up in the middle of the night told to move. You know, I'm all set with that stuff. I'd rather just go back to the shop, drive my car home, and sleep in my own bed. I mean, some people like that lifestyle. I've had enough of it, and I don't want to do it anymore. Anyway, I don't want this video running too long, so I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great day, and I'll post more videos.